Welcome to Sound Values, powered in part by LSA Burger.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in to DentonRadio.com here at the beautiful Discover Denton Welcome Center located on the gorgeous but mildly hot Denton Square. And tonight, I have some good gentlemen here with me. We have got Joe James and I've got Leland. Leland, please, Rooney. Yes, Leland Rooney. These are two of the lovely members of a wonderful group that's been bringing some great jazz, funky vibes, fantastic music to the Denton scene right now. They are part of Body English, and if you take a look at this lovely poster right here, we've got the summer get down on the way. And if you are confused, this is not a summer school. This is a summer get down. This is a groovy, fun time of music. It's going to be going on at Andy's on August 10th from 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. $5 cover. Come out and support your local music. We're going to be talking all about that. We're going to be talking, life, music. Of course, we'll be talking a little bit of snacks as well. So, gentlemen, thank you for coming on tonight. How are we doing?
Doing good.
Awesome. How you doing, man?
Good.
How's the foot?
It's doing all right.
Okay. Yeah.
Got a call from my doctor this morning. It's worse than I thought, so I gotta take it easy.
I mean, but luckily you don't play guitar with your feet,
right?
So you got that going for you. So, man, I'm excited to have you guys on tonight. I'm even more excited to be playing this show with y'all on August 10th.
Yeah, man.
So we're gonna go ahead and just start diving right into it. And Leland, we've had you on the program before, but for people who haven't seen you, we're gonna have a few repeat questions that you've answered before. And once again, guys, I gotta compliment you on the shirts. The gear is great. I'm vibing it a lot. I'm feeling like I'm lacking right now, but the host should never outdo his guests, So we'll start off with Joe, because we've talked before, but let's start off with Joe. So Joe, one of the questions that I always ask everybody is, what is one of your first musical memories? And what I mean by that is it can be like maybe one of the first concerts you went to, or the first time you saw a musician and it just sticks in your head and you're like, that's something I might really want to do one day. So what's that first musical memory that you have as far back as you can go?
Okay, well, as far back as I can go, I got one that's probably a little unorthodox, but not explicit.
Okay.
I was a little kid, and I used to just jam out my room all the time, just listen to music just all day. I was a teenager. I was like 13, and around that time, terrible taste in music, just the worst taste in music, just bad 90s rock and roll, and one day I was just really feeling it, and little 13-year-old Joe was like singing, screaming, like in my room, like on the ground, like on my desk. I just remember like I was getting so into it. And my dad came in, and I got the speakers like blaring, and my dad came in like mid 90s buzz rock scream, and it was like the most embarrassing. I mean, my dad's always been really cool. He's always been really nice, but it was just like one of the most embarrassing like moments between me and like one of my parents. Like,
it's an intimate thing. He caught you in the
yeah,
middle of
because
an
I was
intimate
like
thing.
I was like I'm 3 doors down right now, like, or whatever.
Were you listening to 3 Doors Down? Is that what was going on, or was it?
Like, if I go crazy, dude, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, you still be Superman. That was 3 Doors Down. Look,
I don't know if that was the song, but it was something like that.
Yeah.
And, my dad caught me mid, and I just remember like looking at him.
Yeah,
and
man.
being like, and he was totally like encouraged. He was just like, yeah, you rocking out here, little 13-year-old Joe.
That's
like,
awesome.
And I just remember that was definitely a moment that I was like, I'm really into this, though. That's not what I do now.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm really into this,
Man, I had a funny similar experience. My dad caught me singing Matchbox 20 in the mirror. He just opened the door, and like the door was in. It was like he opened it, and he was just like, oh.
Where did I go wrong?
Yeah. Over here singing the Matchbox 20.
No, my dad was always super cool. He's
That's
real nice
awesome.
about that.
I've seen, you posted like a few pictures of your mom and your dad from a long time ago, and he just looks like
Beautiful
a cool
people.
man. Yeah, man, exactly.
My
He
dad
just
looks like
a
George
cool-
Harrison.
Yeah, he just
When he was a kid, he looked like straight up George Harrison. Like
Yeah, man.
he could have kidnapped, blindfolded, and just jumped in the Beatles, and nobody would have
noticed the difference, man. Oh, that's awesome. So, Leland, what's one of your first musical memories, man? I know you kind of grew up in a musical family.
I think I said last time that it was like a guitar night thing my dad did. He went to college when I was a little kid, so like age 2 to 9 or 10, he was in college and he had friends come over and they'd all play like Bare Naked Ladies and that style of music. And I remember one of the first things I learned on guitar was "Blister in the Sun" by the Violent Femmes. Just
Nice.
the most terrible version ever. You know, it was nothing like what was on the record. But yeah, that was also my first CD, the Violent Femmes, Bliss from the
Violent
Sun.
Femmes. Okay, I might have to check
Mhm.
out the Violent Femmes. You know.
Yeah, I've never heard of that.
And it's
sounds
shamefully, it, like, you know, went on my CD shelf with like 4 CDs next to like NSYNC, Christina Aguilera, and
Mhm.
like, you know.
Eve Scorpion, what's up?
Hey, Luke, how you doing?
Hey,
Shout out
Luke
to Luke.
Peterson's already tuning
My
in. Lofty
man.
Beats tuning in. Yeah, good to have Luke with us, one of the resident DJs for Breakfast and Beats.
Another
over
young
at Backyard
Denton
on
stunner.
Bell. Yeah, the homies, absolutely. You know, and so that's what's cool, man. I mean, like, you know, guitar night with Dad. Dad catches you rocking out to some 90s, you know, maybe Three Doors Down. Who knows what it was? Could have been Green Day, maybe The Offspring, all that fun stuff.
Definitely
And,
not Green Day, but definitely maybe the
Is
Offspring.
this your dad right here commenting, or is this somebody
No.
else? Yeah, I was like, he said, Mark Hart says you are the same way now, so who knows?
Who's the same?
I don't know. If we don't know who that guy is.
Are you saying
know?
I should kidnap the Beatles?
Who knows, man? Who knows? So I want to kind of talk to you guys about Body English in general, you know, because and just kind of about how you guys met, how the music came about, you know, and really what are you guys trying to bring to the Denton scene? And so, Joe, we first met at Breakfast and Beats over at Backyard on Bell, from what I
Yeah.
remember. That was the first time we met, and we started talking then. And then we had also kind of talked to each other about on Facebook about Colby coming on the show, and because you work at the Ghost Note as well. So let's kind of fill me in on your role in Body English, what Body English is, and yeah, we'll just start with those two right there. So what's your role in Body English, and what is Body English?
Okay, so let's start here then.
Yeah, we can start by answering.
Body English. Everybody asks about the name. So basically, Body English is a quote from a Kurt Vonnegut novel. I was a huge Kurt Vonnegut fan growing up. That was a lot of my reading, like in high school and early 20s. And it's from a novel called Timequake.
Okay.
And I'll just read the quote. The quote is like, and now I believe, with David's help, that writer's block is finding out how lives of loved ones really ended instead of the way we hoped they would end, with the help of our Body English. So that quote has a lot of different meanings, and out of context, it might be a little confusing because it's kind of discussing something that's happening like in that specific scenario. But to me, Body English is a very literal term, and it's also it also takes on its own meaning for each person. You know, it's like that's how we communicate with each other. That's, you know, when you think about it, it's really the origin of communication between people, between humans. Like how you know, some people are bad at hiding their emotions. Some people are really good at it, but you know, the people who really pay attention can tell like what somebody is intending or meaning by the way that they move, or you know, a subtle twitch in the face, like the eyes, the lips, like, you know, stuff like that. So also I just thought it was a cool name.
Yeah.
You know, 'cause we're doing
yeah, for sure.
so we play Flying Lotus actually put a good name to a genre that we kind of use as an umbrella term, because just to avoid the whole it's kind of like this, it's kind of like that. It's like basically we just say it's experimental hip hop.
Okay.
So we do, you know, R&B, soul, funk, you know, beat music, like breaks. Like we're super into the old school 70s, old school 60s, you know, Motown. Like, man, Curtis Mayfield is a huge influence. But but what we play is more like modern takes on like pop music. You know, like we've done some Little Dragon, we've done some Flying Lotus I mentioned, and we did a guitarist named Tom Misch.
Okay.
A lot of people are hip to this young dude named Tom Misch, and it's funny, he's actually like kind of looks like a combination of you two. Like he's a real good-looking young dude from London. He's redheaded.
He's awesome, man.
Oh yeah, you know, he
Yeah.
does some really good production. He's a
Oh,
he's a
yeah.
really dope producer. He produced What You Won't Do. He did a remix of Leanne La Havas's What You Won't Do, and that's real hot.
I've got his I've got like 3 or 4 of his tracks on my SoundCloud, like favorites.
Yeah,
You know, so
yeah.
Tom Misch pops up.
He just
often.
dropped that 5-day mission, and I don't want to reveal too much, but we like covering. we try to cover new stuff like real quick.
Okay.
When stuff comes out, and that is made easier because of the incredible musicians that I have, including, you know, Leland's here in the band, that can really bring like a high level of musicality to the music and can learn things quickly, you know.
That's what's up, man. Every time I hear a Kurt Vonnegut quote, I realize that I need to read Kurt Vonnegut, because unfortunately I haven't read a lot of Kurt Vonnegut. So, you said the origin of communication, and you're right, that the name takes on, a form of its own for everybody. To me, when I heard Body English, it was very descriptive of the movement of music, and that musicians are
Absolutely,
playing and you're playing and he's playing, and it's you guys are expressing yourselves up there via the music, and so
nailed
people
it.
are able to vibe that. And so that was just kind of how I took it. But once again, it's also just a cool name because even when you're playing pool and someone's like put a little English on it,
Left-handed
it's,
English, right-handed
Exactly.
it's a little
English,
different, And
Exactly.
so once again, it's going to turn this. It's going to do something that you wouldn't expect. And so I think that fits the Flying Lotus that you're talking about, who I love, and the experimental hip hop, and then the fact that you dropped Tom Misch, I was not expecting that. He's got.
Hey, we
he's
play
got-
some. We
yeah,
play some. Yeah.
and so
This guy right here.
man, and that's
Right
what has
here.
been unfortunate is when you guys are having shows, I was still working I was still working at the bar.
Yeah, you're a busy guy, man.
Yeah, but now that I'm doing the 9 to 5 thing, I can actually go out to some shows more often. So, Leland, as far as your role in the band, you're an experienced guitarist, man. I mean, you're playing in all different groups. You played it with a George Strait cover band the other night.
Yeah, at the Granada down in Dallas.
Yeah, I saw that, man. And so you play a lot of different music. So you obviously you have quite a bit of skill to go from George Strait to some Tom Misch type Flying Lotus stuff. And so what's that like for you to kind of transition between playing one or the other, and how do you kind of balance that out of playing some country and then playing experimental hip hop?
Yeah, it's interesting. You being kind of a pivot point, you get to see me doing these different things. Usually I only hang out with country people, or I only hang out with the Dallas scene people, and they only see one costume I get to wear. But honestly, I feel like the stuff I get to do in Body English is I feel really free, and because we're doing a lot of electronic music, a lot of samples, and a lot of different genres, I get to kind of pick from this palette of American guitar playing, of all these different styles and idioms, and I don't know, I feel like I get to wear costumes in the band, and in that nothing is so strict that I have to play something note for note. It's very free, and obviously there's a lot of jazz influence, a lot of improvisation, that kind of thing.
Absolutely.
And at the same time, we play tunes where you have to literally play the sample the entire time, and just hold it down and make sure it sounds like the record.
Yeah, for sure. So what do you mean when you say American guitar playing?
Man, maybe because I'm a guitar player and I'm an American, I'm full of myself in that respect. But I feel like the electric guitar, I don't know, it's done a lot of things in the States, a lot of styles, from like we were talking about, country and western, to a lot of folk guitar picking, things like that, all the way to American jazz, electric jazz guitar playing. In the blues, especially, we're in Texas. It's kind of seeped into the band, I think. Slowly but surely. That was he's the mastermind. That was his plan.
I'm going to interrupt you here for a second and say I think Will has put it pretty well for us. Leland puts that dirty nasty on it. Yeah, that's a pretty accurate description.
I don't know if you
Oh,
sang
yeah.
any
Proceed.
fly. I don't know if you sang any fly shirts or and fly shirts. Because if you're saying any fly shirts, that's more of a question. Will, those are fly shirts? You know that they are. All right.
Will's our resident old man.
Yeah,
He's
Man,
like,
he's
I left
just
the Facebook comment.
he's just
though.
and fly shirts. There we go.
He
See, he
corrects it.
corrected himself. See, it's just enough delay to where he's like sitting there. He's like,
You should
oh,
have just
man,
left it, bro. You should have just owned it. Just leave it.
And like I knew what I was saying, Mike. Don't worry about it. So, Joe, how did you meet Leland? How did you guys meet? How did you guys start playing together?
That's funny. That's a really good transition. We actually met through Will.
Hey.
Man,
go,
there's
Will.
a really funny story behind that too. I don't want to get too into it, but basically, I did not think Leland was gonna be who I thought he was. When I was told by Will that I was meeting a person, the person who I assumed it was gonna be was not somebody that I thought was gonna do well in the project we were working in, and I thought I was going into a situation I was gonna have to be like, look, man, I know you're friends with this guy. Like, I don't know if this is like the direction we want to go. But as soon as I met him, I was pleasantly surprised. He was not the dude. Like, this is literally a different person. I'm not saying I assumed something about Leland. It was like somebody else who I don't think I actually ever met. But man. Sorry, I have so much to say about Leland because Leland is he's such a great guy. Me and him have actually grown really close, and what's funny about that is when we met, we butted heads all the time. We used to fight a lot, basically like brothers, like kids, because we're both very much leaders. And for my astrology people out there, I'm a Scorpio, he's an Aries. We have a very it's a water fire type of relationship. So we both want to take the reins. We both want to lead, and we've both been in a lot of projects over the years where, like, you know, he has a lot of experience in a lot of areas that I don't, and then I have experience in areas that he didn't. So we would both approach things in different ways, and oftentimes it would pull the ship apart, and then sometimes it would put the ship in the right direction. But over time, we actually grew to be some of the closest friends out of anybody I've met in Denton. And if you had asked me that 3 years ago, I wouldn't have expected it. You know?
And I want to add that.
So y'all have known each other for 3 years at this point.
Yeah.
Okay,
We're
very
going
cool.
on, we're going
Very
on 4.
cool.
We're going on 4 years now, yeah.
That's what's wild, man. Yeah. So
Yeah.
what were you about to say?
Yeah, I want to add that I think, you're talking about roles in the band, and in this situation, I feel like the reins, it's Joe's thing.
Is that kind of more comfortable for you to just kind of be like, all right, cool, like I can just kind of let him do the thing, and if things don't work out, I can just blame it on Joe.
Yeah.
You know?
And no, absolutely not. But we're such close friends that it's really easy to work together, and if he needs help with something, I can assist, but I really enjoy letting him kind of drive the train.
Yeah,
And
providing that vision and just helping to go with that, you know. And
So they know who to blame when we crash.
yeah.
or when you succeed, you know, then he has to just, it's like,
Well,
oh.
Leland has a lot of great intuition musically. He's been playing music a lot longer than I have, and he's been performing a lot longer than a lot of people. He's been performing since he was very young. And so all of that lends itself to just performing on stage. Like, creating music and playing music is one thing, and that takes discipline, and that takes years of study, practice, research. But performing is a whole separate skill set that a lot of incredible musicians find that later in their career is more difficult than they anticipated. And performances are different because there's art music, there's pop music, there's concert halls, bars. If you're playing outside, you're playing at night. Like, there's a vibe that comes with everything you do, and Leland really understands a lot of that, and he understands like what we're doing, and we're in a dark room, like it's nighttime, like we're playing music that like you listen to at night, like music you want to dance to at night, or like we're playing outside, we're on a big stage. Like, he understands the like physics of creating sound for the areas that
the
we're
body
in,
English, if you will.
Okay, see,
snuck
I
it
like,
in, slid it in there.
yeah, that's, it's I love when when people can, like I said, it's the sign. Here's the words. It's a sign of a true professional when somebody can say, you know what, like, I'm gonna, like, this is this guy's kind of project. I want to be a part of it because I see the potential. This is fun. I see something cool. I understand this guy knows what he's doing. Like, I remember when we were talking beats, just kind of talking beats, you were like, hey, yeah, and you showed me a video of you playing. Immediately, I was just like, whoa.
Thank you.
Because you never really, because like you said, you're never really sure if somebody is, just like, hey, I play the drums. Well, it's,
Anybody.
I can, yeah. But as, as an instructor, and when you show me those videos of you playing, you got to get that night money, Will. I mean, I was just like, man, like, I have to get this guy. I've even talked to you about helping me out with some stuff and playing with me on stage because,
absolutely,
and
which is gonna happen.
Yeah, you got to get out there and you got to experiment. You got to try different things and kind of be scared on stage. That was what I was talking to Leon Carlo about last night too. He was saying, I haven't had a lot of music out lately. I was like, I have a lot of unreleased stuff, but I'm really trying to bring something new to the performances. And I'm excited to see a group like you guys who is saying Flying Lotus, Body English, experimental hip hop. And you guys are very well-trained musicians who know what you're doing and still appreciate this type of music. It's not just the beat kids like myself or Lofty. I mean, Lofty's a trained musician. I'm not. Who just who press buttons and find samples and stuff. It's good to see.
Lofty's trained in debauchery.
That is a fact. Yes, sir. All right. No offense, Lofty. He's
much offense.
He's his thumbs up right now. So before we talk about the August 10th show at Andy's, when was y'all's first show? When was Body English's
okay,
first
that's
show?
good because I wanted to stop you since we're talking about us so much and kind of talking about the band.
Yeah.
I gotta give a shout out to all the people that have made this happen, and like Leland is actually one of the newest additions to the band. He we've been in a lot of projects together and we've played together for a long time, but this project, Body English, has actually existed in many iterations, in many different configurations, different members, different seasons of life, etc. So it's been a real long ride, and it's honestly it's been slow going a lot of the time. And anyway, to not to get too long-winded about it, our very first show was in Austin. And this band actually used to be called Canvas Theory.
Okay.
So the original project was a thing called Canvas Theory. That was me and a homie from Austin. I'm from Austin. And shout out ATX, Lofty Beats. And
I was just there.
my homie, this guy knows. My homie Gift was a rapper that we started this project with. It was me and him. Canvas Theory was his idea.
Okay.
And the original lineup was actually, this is going to sound hilarious to anybody who doesn't know this, it was actually Hale Baskin, it was Isabel Crespo, Horace Bray, Lucas Reeder playing a synthesizer. He's a bass player, and he was playing a synthesizer. And then our bass player that we have now, Brandon Broussard.
Okay.
And that was like the original makeup for the group. And we did all the rappers' music, and we played at the Empire Patio at the Empire Garage in Austin, because I have a lot of connections that I still try to keep connected in Austin.
Cool.
So we play shows. We play shows down there, semi regularly. We try to get down there at least a couple times a year, and we try to make it a big deal and book a big venue and get some homies to come and play on the bill with us. So hopefully that will actually happen soon. But
yeah, man. That's
other than that, sorry to keep. I don't mean to cut you off.
No,
but,
go ahead.
Brandon Broussard, this young man in the shadows right here. He has been the only consistent member of this project the whole time, and that's the guy.
That guy.
That's Brandon. He's the man on the bass. And Brandon has been a huge proponent in this because he's just been so willing to be a part of these projects and drive to other cities and rehearse long hours and come out late at night. And right now he's working a full-time job, and it's like he'll work a double and he'll come out, still in his chef's clothes and come play bass at the rehearsal for 2 hours.
Where does he make food?
Shout out to Boca 31, by the way.
Ooh, don't even get me started.
You make
One of Denton's
making you
best kept
sandwiches.
secrets.
Dude, that place is delicious.
Yeah, well, Brandon's got a hand in that deliciousness.
That
I'm
is what
telling
I
you.
like to hear. I was going to say, I'm going to go in there and be like, hey, Brandon. Next time he's working a double, I'll run in there. You know?
And then on top, Horace was in it for a little while, and he left. And then, Hale and Isabel don't do it anymore. That was when it was Canvas Theory. But as Body English, the lineup, like the set lineup, is Brandon, Leland, and Jordan Geen. Jordan Geen is a master musician that a lot of people around here have a lot of respect for. A lot of people either know extensively about him or they know nothing about him. And he's an incredible musician in a lot of ways because he has mastery of so many instruments. But the thing that's really unique about this, because there are musicians like that. There's not a lot of them, but there's guys who can like play everything. They can do it. They pick up the trumpet, pick up the the keyboard, pick up the bass. And the thing that's unique about him is that he maintains this very unique voice that is very recognizably Jordan, no matter what instrument he's playing.
Okay.
And that is such an anomaly to me to be able to sound like if I closed my eyes and heard the trumpet, that's Jordan playing that trumpet, that's Jordan playing that keyboard, that's him playing the drum set. And that's a really special thing to me. So he is also somebody who works extensively, works in a lot of bands. He's in almost every band in the city,
So most likely, I have seen Jordan play. I just don't know him personally.
Certainly, yeah. He has his own project, Sky Window, that is incredible. Yeah.
Okay,
He's the mastermind behind that.
Long hair.
Red hair, red ponytail, red beard.
Oh yeah,
He also
dude.
does the Harvest
Space,
House band.
Yeah,
lots of
that guy's ridiculously talented. I've
astronomical,
even seen him play with I think Maylee Thomas or Chaz Marie. I think it was
Chaz
Chaz Marie.
Marie.
Yeah.
Still there with her,
He's
yeah.
all over the place.
That
And
guy shreds.
People that he plays bass for have no idea that he is a trained, he's a jazz trumpeter.
That's
what
world
he
class.
did. Yeah, that's
what
he
he
did in school.
The first time I saw Sky Window, I was just like, wait, I've only ever seen you play chat with Chaz Marie, and then he's got his keyboard up there. He's playing other stuff,
Space
and it's
Station,
like, oh my goodness, it was incredible, man. And what's cool is when you're saying these names, I have interviewed Hale recently. I don't know Hale.
Hale.
Hale on the show
like
recently. Exactly. And I've had Horace Bray on the show, and now I've had you guys on the show. So it's cool hearing some of these names and being like, oh man, okay,
they're
cool.
all great people.
I've talked to these people.
They've all brought something very unique to the group.
Yeah,
It's been a pleasure.
and now now I've talked to you, so it's good to know that you were coming back in, and so you had that first show down in Austin, and now you've guys have played some shows, and it's really cool to see you guys take charge, and I think that a lot of people forget that all you have to do is ask, all people can do is say no, and I hear. I think 90% of the time people will say yes as long as you can give them enough time. You know, don't come and say, hey, it's Friday. Can I play, next Friday? No, you need to give that time and that space to allow for whoever the booking agent is, and just send an email and, keep it humble, keep it easy. And, just like when, you kind of talked to me, like you're like, talking to Blake over at Andy's, just send the guy an email. And if he can help you out, it's probably even a 99% chance that he's going to, because they're willing to give people those opportunities. And so it shows that to go from playing the different shows like y'all have to now playing at Andy's, and respect for having me on the build, that you guys are doing something right. You're doing something that people respect and something that a crowd is looking for.
Man, much appreciation for being a part of the build with us. Yeah, and I got to give a shout out to Blake for giving us the opportunity to put on the Get Down, because this is going to be bumping. We got to keep saying, y'all got to come to this. Y'all got to see this.
You have, I mean, absolutely. And that's the thing is I'm like, Joe, if you're sitting there during my set and you want to hop on the drums, just go right ahead. You're not going to hurt my feelings at all. Because August 10th is going to be very, very exciting. And if I say lit myself, if I want to talk how the young kids are talking.
Let's touch on this young woman right here.
Yes, I've been curious.
So the rest of the band, people who have collaborated in the past, also Jack Robin on guitar before Leland, but for the 10th specifically, our man Nicholas Rothaus, who is world-class percussionist. He has also been a part of the group for a long time, and he's just a super nice guy. He's like one of the nicest dudes I ever met. He's a great cook.
Yeah,
but he's going to be playing percussion with us on the 10th, and it's always fantastic having him keep me in line. And our singers are going to be Gabrielle Bird. That's the truth. Jordan's keyboard is definitely powered by Phantoms, Phantoms that he harvests late in the night. But our singers are going to be Gabby Bird and Raven Trahan. Raven is on the poster, and Raven is a longtime friend of mine. Gabby's a longtime friend of mine.
How is it that you happen to get two people that had like names that refer to flying creatures? Bird and Raven. I mean, that's so Gabby Bird and Raven. What was the last name?
You caught it. Raven Trahan.
Trahan.
So that's Trahan.
Awesome.
They're fantastic. They both have very unique elements to their voice that blend very well. And it was funny because Raven has been somebody I've known for a long time, and I'm happy to have finally gotten on the project. And we brought on Gabby shortly afterward. And I wasn't really sure like how they were going to gel or how they were going to, because they didn't really, like, they just knew of each other. They both were on the scene and hadn't really hung out much. And right before we did our first gig, because they're both in the cover band scene, they actually ended up getting on the same gig. And then they drove to that gig together, and they actually like rehearsed some of our music in the car on the way back.
Nice.
So it would just happened, by complete circumstance that they're like hanging out and they're totally cool. So it's like it's a great dynamic.
That's awesome. So Leland, have you ever played with any of these other people? We've got Hale, Horace, Jordan, Gabby, Nicholas, Raven. Have you ever played with any of these people before?
Just being on the scene. I haven't played on the same bandstand as Horace because we're both guitar players.
There's only room for either one of y'all on stage, I would say so, Maybe y'all could just duel it out one day. Who knows,
But it's all definitely this, I don't know, it's a body of musicians that all hung out together at UNT and kind of on the Dallas scene and the Denton scene that Joe's just been dipping into. So we're all, it's very incestuous in that way. We're all going to parties and jamming and hanging out together.
We'll tone it down.
Sorry.
Let's bring it back.
Forgot we can't swear.
That's not even a curse word. But that's what's awesome, man. Is like you're bringing all these great musicians, Joe. You're bringing these people together who are very, very skilled, and it's awesome to see this scene is growing and it's expanding to people who have a huge musical repertoire and musical knowledge and the ability to play instruments and play, I guess you could say like just you guys can correct me. I mean, like I guess just to play music in general that I could only dream of being able to perform live.
Well, man, all of these people, what they all share in common is that they're all very disciplined. They all share a joy and knowledge of this kind of music, of beat music, hip hop music, like old school, whatever, all that stuff that goes into what we do, from old jazz, standards, bebop, like that era, that very influential, like where we get the technicality and the history and all of those things, all the way to modern, electronic, like processed music, sampling, like
Yeah, and a friend of mine a while back, she said a quote to me, and she said that discipline is freedom. And I think the way that that connects to y'all's music is that you are disciplined, and that allows you to play freely.
Absolutely.
Bill
yeah.
Evans has a great quote where he says, "You spend years and years and years learning how to play, and then when you get up on stage, you kind of have to forget all of that so you can just play."
Yeah,
And so
that's
that
perfect, yeah.
discipline equals the freedom to do what y'all are doing,
Yeah,
which
absolutely.
is just awesome, man. Like I don't like. Okay, I'm playing like before y'all, right?
I believe
You're
so.
in the middle, yeah. You're in the
Okay,
middle.
good. I was like, I'm not playing after y'all. That is not gonna happen because people will be
Hey,
like,
man,
okay, I'm
you
leaving.
got it, bro. I'm so
it-
happy
it-
to have you on the set.
Yeah, but that's what I'm
And
saying,
while we're
man.
on the subject, let's talk about Ronnie Hart.
Exactly,
Also,
yeah.
my man Ronnie Hart was introduced to me by my good friend Allison, and Ronnie is definitely like a Dallas gem. He's from Fort Worth, I believe, if I'm correct.
Okay.
And he is a solo artist. He's a vocalist. He plays guitar. He's been described to me basically as like, you know, a small iteration of Prince. And he moves on stage. He dances. He plays. He brings a whole lot to the performance. And I'm really, really excited to have him. I really want people to know about that. And
Oh yeah, man.
like I just wanna go see y'all.
Well, that's how I'm
I
feeling.
put
I'm
this
like,
show together just to
Yeah.
like watch you guys. Pretty much, it was just an excuse. Like
That's one of
We don't
the
even have to
great
play.
things about when you start to be able to book shows. When people give those opportunities to you and you start to capitalize on it, and people are like, "Man, that was a great show. This was fantastic." And then you get to start bringing out more people, and your
Yeah.
friends get to start playing shows. And then all of a sudden, it's just like Breakfast and Beats. All of a sudden, you'll turn around and you get to hang out with all your friends
It's
and
a
watch all the
scene.
music that you love, and you're creating a scene, man.
Yeah,
That's what's
exactly,
awesome.
yeah.
You're becoming part of a scene and creating a scene, and and I just think I'm very, very happy that I've met you and have had the chance to get to know
Yeah,
you, and the
man.
fact that you have
Feeling
supported
is mutual.
my little idea that I had, and so I am all about this, man, and I'm more than
Good stuff.
excited now that I know, kind of the vibes that Body English has, because
Yeah.
unfortunately, like I said, I hadn't been able to make it to a show because of work, and now we
Yeah,
got
you're
this
a busy
guy who's
bro.
throwing out some Prince vibes. Like, that's gonna be
Yeah,
awesome,
that's
man.
that's
So
the best way I can describe
know,
it without
August 10th at Andy's. They got the new sound system going on.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be a lot
And
of
then
fun.
for
man.
The
anybody
remodel's
who's-
still pretty fresh. I'll even say that.
Just
Yeah.
about to say that. Just about to say that. Anybody who doesn't know about that, Andy's got remodeled, and it is immaculate. It's
Yeah.
beautiful. It's a completely excuse me, completely changed venue,
Mm-hmm.
and we're really excited to play there. We got to play there one time back in May, and
For the
you know.
Jambunctious reunion show we were on here
Mhm.
promoting. Yeah.
Yeah, man, that was
But,
that was cool. It was funny the other night. I was doing sound over at Backyard, and I was talking to one of the bands, and they brought up Andy's. And one of the kids was like, "Do they still have the water dripping on the stage?" And I was like, "No, not anymore."
I didn't know if I
man."
could bring that up because, like, we
No,
signed the
no.
waiver. I was like, yeah, man, there's no more hole. Floor tom's not falling over anymore.
Hey,
There's
man,
no more.
yeah, I
Like, you're
think-
not dodging. Like,
Yeah,
you know,
that
it's
was
like,
it was part of the ambiance of playing at that place.
Yeah.
Was you'd be sitting there and you
yeah.
just like,
Yeah. You gotta start that beat on the like, Mike
Yeah.
the drip, Mike
yeah,
the drip.
Mike that drip real quick for me, man. That's
hot. That's hot.
I
Turn
should have
it up.
thought to do that. That would have been funny. Yo,
Some
Jared,
reverb
can
on it.
I mic that drip over there, man?
Hey man, I need some more drip.
Lewis Kirk walking by. Shout out to the Soap, a great original Denton band.
Hey.
Lewis
That's
Kirk.
what's up, man. See, that's what's so fun too, man. Is we're sitting here, we are kind of sitting in the fishbowl, but people get to walk by, they see
Yeah.
us,
Yeah,
and
I
they,
dig it, yeah.
and people who are like, wait, what's going on in there? When I first started working here, man, I got all kinds of funny looks and
Yeah.
strange things that would go on outside of that window, man.
Man,
So-
before we get too far,
Yeah.
I left out one person, very important person,
Okay.
the very newest addition to the group, who's going to be on stage with us that night, is my man Jabari English. Incredible MC, Little Dirt, great
Etchy
producer.
Beats.
Check out his work, check out his stuff. He's going to be joining us for that performance. We're going to be doing some of the music that we kind of collaborated on together. We played Taps and Caps this past weekend for their closing show.
Rest in peace.
Rest in peace. And he's an incredible performer, and he brings a whole like different kind of energy to the stage. He's a real like he knows how to speak and how to interact and do that whole thing, and I love that.
He was one of the first people who I met in town too, almost 4 years ago.
Oh really?
Yeah, and he was.
Man, he was a kid.
Yeah, he was
a kid,
very
yeah.
young. He was very young, and I remember he played Octopia, 2 years ago, and I went to his set. And him and his boys, they were having fun, but Jabari was like standing like up, you know, on like one of like the kind of the rafter things, and was going.
It, man.
And he had like some rhymes that were about Dragon Ball Z and stuff.
Oh,
and so
yeah.
he has a very
That's
eclectic,
why.
fun way of rapping.
That's
you know?
why, man. Because you know, Pokemon, DBZ, like, and specifically like. We're talking way back. Zelda, Ocarina of Time. Grew up on that. Like, he's all about the old school video games. Like, man, any of my friends know I'm so about video games. And, like, it was bad. It got so bad that I just, like, straight stopped playing when I was 16. Because it was like, okay, I need to, like, exist in the real world.
Yeah.
You know, and, man, he has a lot of, like, you know, like, way back NES, Mega Man 2 type of beats, you know.
Yeah,
like,
man, he's almost like, I feel like if him and D-Mar hung out, like, it would be the ultimate like video game discussion, because D-Mar will always be posting like these old school Sega games that he's getting, and like people will buy
Mortal
D-Mar
Kombat.
video games and just bring them to him because they know what a fan he is.
That's so awesome.
You know,
I
so
love
like
that.
I don't know, maybe I'll bring Jabari like an old Pokemon, you know, for the Game Boy.
He's
just lose
super
it.
juiced about
Yeah.
that if you did that.
So August 10th at Andy's, man. The
Yeah.
music starts at 10 p.m., goes all the way until 2 a.m.
And this ain't a show. This is a party.
Yeah.
Come to this party. Ronnie is gonna be partying. Like Kind Beats
Will be
is
partying.
getting the party kicking. Like Jabari is gonna have. It's gonna be. I'm sorry. I'm getting excited.
Yeah, no, you
I gotta
should
watch,
be getting excited.
Watch my language. Y'all come to this.
It's gonna be fun.
Don't not come to
Yeah.
this. Like
Yeah, we got
don't
Body
make that
English,
mistake.
myself, Kind Beats, we got Ronnie Hart, and just a whole slew of great people who are going to be there and enjoy it. That's what I'm saying, man. Is you've got the people who have played that you know. I can't wait. Like I know that I'm going to lose it, and I'm just going to be sitting there, you know, the whole time, man. So August 10th at Andy's,
appreciate that,
$5 cover,
Yeah.
but really just think that you're paying, basically, like I had said it before, whose bills do you want to pay? You know, I know you want to pay your own, but help us pay ours too. That's
and on
always
that
nice.
on that subject, actually, this money on on some real, this money is going towards funding our future projects. So like the money that we make at Andy's is going to go towards doing more showcases that we bring like great acts together,
Exactly.
and like being able to commission incredible artwork like this. Transition to shout out to Michael Felder. He's my artist that does all of my design work. He did the Body English logo. He did the Miami House logo. That's a whole nother story. That's like the house I threw some like house shows in that I live at. And he does incredible work. He's fantastic. You ever need somebody that can just nail it, you know, in a short amount of time for a good price. He's your man.
That was great when I saw it.
I give him the ideas, and then he comes with the design, and I'm blown away every time. He always brings something new that I love.
Awesome stuff, man.
I
So
know.
I want to talk, about the DMAC kickoff that y'all have
Yeah.
coming up.
That was
So,
right up next on the list.
yeah, let's talk about that. Just let me know. I don't know. I know Danielle Longville's talked to me a little bit about it, but I don't know a whole lot. And feel free to chime in if you know what's going on. You know, so what's up with the DMAC
Well, you
kickoff?
kind of put me on a spot now. I still have a little research to do myself on the event itself, but you can find the information on the event. We're very excited to be a part of it. It's their kickoff for their organization. It's a fundraiser, you know, show support to all of these great musicians that are coming out for this cause. And Christopher Walker is the man that put us on that show. He's somebody else who has been a huge support in our band's kind of come up, our growth. He's always been very encouraging and just very appreciative of like what we do, and that like it means a lot to me when people are really invested in the music and like are listening to what you do and they try to help you have growth. So, you know, thank you, Christopher Walker, for getting us on that. And that is also going to be a great performance. It's I believe it's a $10 cover. We go on at 9 p.m. and that's going to be, I believe that's going to be me, Brandon, Leland, and Carly Reese is going to join us.
Yeah.
The ever wonderful Carly Reese.
Yeah, ever
Carly Reese
wonderful.
is going to join us.
So once again, the minimal amount that I do know about DMAC as well, I'm gonna be, you know, I'm sure Danielle will call me up after this and be very, you know, yell at
I'm
me
the one who's
just a
going to
little
get
bit. Is that they're basically a nonprofit organization that helps
Mm-hmm.
musicians and artists alike, and basically creative types to help you get either like healthcare coverage,
Mm-hmm.
I mean even. I mean, all that kind of stuff that it takes to be AKA starving artist,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and to help find ways to also just to raise awareness. Because one thing that always gets me, I won't go on a rant or anything like that, but one thing that always gets me is that when you live in a town, sometimes a little too often we get caught up in the idea that we've got a Walmart and a Target and all this, and all those places are great and stuff, but we have to remember. But one thing that we have to remember is that these are local people that you can come and you can see at your local venues, and you can meet them in person, and you understand where these people are coming from, and to be able, and you should have pride in being able to support the local arts, whether
Absolutely.
it's pottery, drawing, painting, dancing, music, whatever you want to film.
Man. I'm all about that.
And
yeah.
so
I'm
to
with
be
you.
able to go out and meet those people and to experience and get to know them, it helps you to feel much more connected to the town that you live in. It's a strange example, but one thing I experienced once was a girl came in to the bar a long time ago, and she tipped me $7. The next day, she was my waitress at breakfast, and I gave her that $7 right back.
All right.
So it's a circular movement that I think that sometimes,
love that story.
we kind of forget that we live in a town where you can get anywhere on a bike in 18 minutes if you really want to.
Yeah.
And it's a beautiful place. And the fact that we have music and art and film festivals and jazz fest and art that goes on down there we have the farm or the community market that happens every week. These are things that can really help just an individual. Like if you feel like that you don't know anybody in town, go outside.
Yeah.
Go outside,
Yeah,
hit these events,
absolutely.
because you're gonna meet people like these dudes who will make you feel welcomed into the community, who will make you feel a part of something, and that's important in life. Is to have that purpose and enjoy
Absolutely.
it.
Half the reason we're even sitting here right now is because I just went out to Breakfast and Beats.
Yeah, and we
2 months
started.
ago.
Yeah,
we just kicked it.
and because you reached out to me too at like 2:30 in the morning about an interview too, and so that's why. And because of that too, I've gotten to know Colby better.
Yeah.
I learned a thing or two about drumming myself. Even after that interview with him, I went home and implemented some of the things he talked to me about into my own music.
Yeah.
And
Colby is a fantastic guy.
and so it's awesome, man. And now you guys are also playing another show. This is what I love, is that we've got
Hold up.
barbecue and beats, but what's up?
I don't want to spoil the
Okay.
surprise. I don't want
Okay.
to spoil the surprise.
Okay.
So thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. So
Okay.
we're running out of time here, so I just want to make sure that that we do get to everything.
Yeah.
First off, I'm totally with you. Community support, local support. I feel like that's something that's very overlooked by a lot of artists and musicians who also are ready to voice their grievances about the way like the scene is or the way the community is, and aren't really doing so much in terms of action to get out and be a part of that. And that's why I love collaborating with you. I love collaborating with Chris Walker and people like that, Danielle. Like, these people are all about doing something that is a collective. Like it's not for personal gain. I mean, obviously, like we want to advance our own projects, but when everybody is advanced together, that's the best way to do it.
Yeah.
You can't do anything without a good team.
Yeah, I
So-
mean, if we were interviewing Jake over here right now, I'm pretty sure he could tell you that there's a lot of people that you would have to thank for us being able to sit here at dentonradio.com
Yeah,
right now and
I'm
having
sure,
this
yeah.
interview.
Yeah.
I can remember when I first met Jake, and there's other people who've been like, oh man, he's still doing that? I'm like, yeah, you haven't seen, And so people who have the vision and people who have these ideas and this relentless attitude to just be like, this is what I'm going to do. This is going to happen. And like you said, you do want to advance your own projects. But when you do that, when you advance yourself, it enables you to help others and to bring them with you.
Absolutely, yeah.
One of my favorite motivational speakers, Les Brown, says that if you don't help yourself, you can't help anybody else.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
focus on you.
I agree.
Focus on you unselfishly. And when you accomplish things that you've been looking to do, turn to the left and see who was standing next to you and was giving you that, you can do this,
I like
you can
that.
do this, and then bring them with you.
So on the questioner show, so we talked about the Get Down. That's the joint. Come out. That we're gonna be putting out some videos. Because one thing that we have not talked about yet is that me and Leland are in the process of writing some of our first original music. We while we love all kinds of modern modern hip hop, old school hip hop, jazz, all that stuff. We very much are wanting to create art as well. Obviously, that's what original music is kind of what fuels a lot of the scene here. And we wrote something very recently that we're actually really excited about, and we've tried to write a lot in the past, and that goes into kind of some of our coming up together as musicians, and it's been difficult. It's been, frustrating. We, work on something for weeks and then just trash it. And the other day we work on something for months and trash it. And then we laugh about these little lines that something that we've just known forever. And like that sounded like a circus. We wanted it to sound like a real cool funk intro, but it ended up sounding like and it's like, okay,
it's a little too clownish.
That fell real flat, and we were just like, scrap it. But we wrote something the other day that came out like an hour. He was like, I got this thing, and I was like, I got this verse, and it was the first time that I think the two of us together kind of experienced that, at least with each other. So we're writing some good music, and we're really excited about it. This money is going to go towards funding, coming out with some videos in the very near future that we hope to release probably early in 2018. And other than that, we talked about our announcement. So we got an announcement for the fall. These are our last performances of the summer. The showcase, this is the last showcase that we're going to put on for the summer season. So we're really trying to blow up the Get Down. The DMAC kickoff is going to be a lot of fun. That's going to be a really good way to go out in the summer. I'm super excited about that. And somebody else who has been very, very supportive of us, who we had a great time with them. I want to backtrack a little bit. Joey Selly and his dad, Jeff, at Killer's Tacos gave us a home to kind of start off what we were doing with our performances. So I want to shout out Killers. But where we are now moving to is the Bearded Monk. Ben Easley has offered us a spot to start our monthly residency there. So in the fall, we're going to start performing the second Tuesday of every month. We're going to be performing at 11 o'clock at the Bearded Monk. It's free. We're going to have the homies. We're going to have, Lofty. We're going to have Jabari. We're going to have Kind Beats. And it's going to be a good time. It's going to be a real good hang. Ben's always been a really great guy. He's always been an avid supporter of what we do. And the first thing that we're going to do there is with you on August 12th, we're doing barbecue and beats.
I'm so excited for that.
Yeah, and that's going to be a fun show too. Yeah,
money too.
That'll be a short showcase. That'll be a little different. What we did at Taps and Caps this weekend was a little stripped down, and it was it was duo breaks with a good friend of mine, Max Carroll from Dallas. But yeah, backyard or barbecue and beats is going to be like a more stripped down kind of thing as well. So
that'll be
the big full band performances. This is 8 people on stage. We're all doing it. Andy's is gonna be huge. DMAC, that's gonna be full band, not quite as big, but it's gonna be the full thing.
And then barbecue and beats is just a little bit.
That's gonna be a more stripped down, maybe trio, and.
So how does the music change when you do? I'm sorry, man. I just have to ask. How do the vibes change? How does the music kind of change whenever you kind of strip things down a little bit?
The music is constantly changing. when it gets to a stripped down setup, we tend to vibe more on excuse me. We come to I just can't talk. As soon as we started interviewing, I was like, I gotta pee. My throat is scratchy. I
I'm sweating.
I'm just uncomfortable with myself in general.
Can I get a?
I don't know what to do with my hands.
Yeah, who am I? What am I? No. But yeah, so we come from an improvised background, being jazz musicians, and when we get to that stripped down scenario, we kind of employ that a little more. We're we'll pick a groove, we pick our beats, something that we might have come up with together, or maybe something that is inspired by music we listen to, and then we'll have written verses, we'll have written hooks, and we'll put those, we'll cue and we'll do the hook, we'll do the verse, maybe we'll throw Leland a solo, do the hook again, and we'll just kind of vibe on that and see how the audience is vibing. Sometimes he goes to a really crazy place. Sometimes, we'll just stop it abruptly because that's the nature of improvisation,
Yeah.
But there's always a loose structure, and there's always a destination in mind. So we're working up that set for the 12th, and I'm excited for what we're gonna do. That's gonna feature my man Jabari English, and because that's gonna be more geared towards the beat side of music. So
for sure, that's always what I'm. It's something that I get jealous of. But it's a good jealousy.
Yeah.
It's almost like a happy envy in a way. I wish I could do that, but I'm glad someone can. That's what I like to see. And that's what I love is that y'all are able to just do that improvisation up there. And one thing when I used to go watch Horace, and I believe Matt Young up there, they would talk. I think is it Matt Young? Is that the drummer?
Oh yeah.
Okay, cool. You could
Shout
see
out to
when-
Matt
yeah,
Young,
you could
man.
see
What a
when
guy.
yeah, it only
What a
took me
great
like
guy.
7 times of mentioning him to finally remember his name. You could watch when they would start to improvise, and then all of a sudden it just boom made sense, man. And they would smile at each other, and you could tell
yeah.
they were hitting something new and different.
That was some Mike. That was some Mike.
Yeah,
Lewinsky.
and
Shout out
so
to Mike.
yeah, we've got a little bit of time left here, gentlemen. Just a
Yeah.
little bit of time. Now, do you want to talk about the surprise? I know we don't have a
I
whole
do.
lot of info
I
on
do,
it.
I
Okay,
do.
so let's
It's,
finish it up with talking about the surprise, man.
Yeah. So this is very short. There's
Okay.
not a whole lot of info to give. We are throwing a showcase that is tentatively booked for the end of September right now. It's gonna be at a new hot spot on the square, and
We have to finish it with that question, just so you know. He's going to have to know.
Dutz had better be at every event.
Yeah.
Dutz had better be at every single event.
Well, when you're ready
yeah,
to
we're-
announce that showcase.
Yeah, that we're really excited about this space. We heard about it recently. As soon as we get the go ahead, everybody's gonna know exactly when and where and what's happening. But it's all I can say is that it's
I like the smile.
It's really dope, and I'm really excited to be a part of
That's
it. So
awesome,
as soon as
man.
that happens, y'all look
Yeah.
out. We'll probably make that announcement at the Bearded Monk on our first night of our residency. So just to kind of
Okay.
lure y'all
I'll
into
be
that
there.
trap,
I'll be there, man.
the beat trap.
I'll be there. So the last question, man, because you can see my notes. It looks like I'm
Hey.
scribbling garbage, but I promise it's names, it's dates, it's all that kind of stuff. Trying to be a better listener nowadays, trying to do better at this.
Yeah,
I've
me
been
too,
doing it for a
man.
year. I'm
Me
trying
too.
to do better at that kind of stuff,
Yeah.
But I have to know because I forget,
Ooh, the pen
unfortunately,
tricks?
man.
Okay,
Oh yeah, a
so
few of those.
Easy.
Yeah, slow down there. Take an eye out. Let's see, man. What this is the most important question beyond all the music of the night. What is your favorite snack, man?
Pickles, man.
Pickles.
Always.
Is there a certain is it Clausen, or
Yeah.
Okay.
When in need, refrigerator dills, the Clausen never heated. They're crunchy. That's where it's at.
Exactly.
But my mom
man.
every summer makes a huge jar of pickles, and
Really?
that there's nothing better than my mom's pickles. Always.
I gotta try. Maybe one day bring me one of these.
Bring
pickles,
some to the
man.
show. I'll bring some
Look,
to the show.
yeah, I'll bring.
I can attest to that.
I'll bring one of my dad's homemade porters if you like beer porter. And you
Fantastic.
bring me
man.
some pickles. All right.
Hey,
yeah,
beer-
yeah.
Porter and pickles. That sounds really good.
Is that the next event?
Yeah.
I believe
We got
so.
breakfast and beets.
Yo, y'all
porters and
come out
pickles.
November, Porter and pickles. This is the joint.
I think that's a group name, dude. That's way
Yeah.
too much fun.
Daniel Porter, shout out.
How about you, man? What is one of your favorite snacks?
I
Drew
know.
Pickles,
I know.
shout
I
out.
knew this was coming. Man, my answer is gonna be so lame. I like bananas. Like, I was like, what's the thing I eat the most? I was like, man, I eat a lot of bananas.
That's
Like,
healthy,
I'm
dude.
down.
You gotta get your
dude,
potassium, man.
It's like it's so filling. Like it's just great. It's such
Like-
a fantastic fruit. Like it's just fun.
I like Flamin'
You
Hot
know?
Cheetos, man. Actually, it became
That's
an
about the
issue a
exact
couple weeks
opposite,
ago. I
yeah.
had to realize I got to stop doing this so much. I just get these temptations. Then
Is
I'm
that
like,
what turned your hair red, man?
Yes,
Just
sir.
Like that?
You just
That's why I
had to
got-
get in a dad joke, bro. Like you couldn't. We got 5 minutes left.
we got so close. We got so close.
Then
man.
we turned your
Well-
hair red.
Yeah, man. Well, we actually started a little bit early on the interview tonight. So,
Cool.
so
we're done,
we've got about 1 minute left here. But man, we have gone through so much, and I appreciate y'all coming out.
Man,
talking.
thank you so much for having
It's
us.
been awesome. Like I said, man. Getting to know you guys and talking to y'all and the music that you're bringing, I think is just fantastic, and that comes from the heart, man. That is no lie. I think that you kind of realize I'm not the kind of guy to really as Will Ferrell said in that terrible movie I watched yesterday with Mark Wahlberg, just cut the crap, like you just cut through it all, man. Let's talk face to face. Let's discuss how we can provide a service to the community, a service to the musicians, and a service to the people who want to support the music in general. And y'all are doing that. So, my hat's off to you.
Thank you.
I think it's fantastic.
thank you.
I'm excited once again about the August 10th show, which I'm very, very privileged to be able to play.
The
we got
Get Down.
the Get Down, Summer Get Down, one of the very last shows that we're going to be seeing. We've got the DMAC fundraiser coming up. We've got Barbecue and Beats, and then, of course, you announced the Bearded Monk residency, which is awesome. Shout out to Ben Easley for doing
Second
that.
Tuesday every
Second
month,
Tuesday of
starting
11
in
o'clock.
September.
Yeah, starting in September. See, that's why I have to make the notes, or else I'll forget.
The
to
show
say
is
that.
at 9 p.m., but
Oh.
Body English is at 11.
Show starts
so,
at 9.
yeah,
Body
well,
English is at
The
11.
homies are going to be playing early.
Awesome, man. Well, before we go, do y'all want to give a shout out to anybody one more time?
Man, shout out to my moms, man.
There you go.
Always,
She gave
yeah.
birth to me, bro. Like, I love
Without
you,
moms,
Mom.
we're not doing this.
Hey,
Steven?
really, my parents, and his parents too. I can attest. I don't want to take your shout out, but our parents have both been very supportive of us, and it's like that's definitely something that I think about every single day, that they give me the ability to pursue what I love,
Well, if y'all start seeing these posters around, you need to go to this show. That's all I can say right now. So once again, y'all, I hope that y'all have had thanks again, guys, just for coming.
Does Lena
in.
get a shout out?
Yeah,
I
you
just-
do.
I
I'm
just
sorry.
took
You
it.
kind
I
of
took it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I took it.
DentonRadio.com. You're talking about helping out the community, keeping things moving. And it's obvious you guys are just a wheel in the community, just spreading the word of all sorts of good things happening around town.
We're trying our best,
So
man.
thank you
We're
for
trying
doing
our
what
best.
you're doing, man.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And thank y'all once again. I'm going to give a shout out to some of my boys that are on this list here. Horace Bray, Hale Baskin, Little Dirt, even Tom Mish, if for some reason he sees this in
Yeah, one day.
Shout out to Tom
Shout
Mish,
out to
bro.
Tom
We
Mish.
played your songs,
Maybe we'll
man.
have you out sometime. That would be awesome. But, man, thank y'all so much for coming out again tonight. Once again, y'all been tuned into Sound Values right here on DentonRadio.com. Tune in next week. I've got a gentleman who was actually on The Voice once named Brian Burns coming out. He was a guitarist, traveled around for a long time. We're going to be talking to him about what it was like to live out of a truck and play music on the streets of Las Vegas and then find yourself in front of Christina Aguilera. So that'll be a good time. Once again, fellas, thank you so much for coming out.
Shout
y'all
out to
are awesome.
Kind Beats.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate
Come
y'all
get
The
some
very
Kind
kindest.
much.
The
Y'all
kindest.
tune in every single Monday night from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. right here on DentonRadio.com. Thanks a lot, y'all. We'll see you next time.
Well, thank you for tuning in. We hope you enjoyed the show. Be sure to check out DentonRadio.com to find new Denton artists and where they're playing next. While you're surfing the internet, make sure to check out our friends LSA Burger at LSAburger.com.